Hello, BookTube. Well, it's a Veterans Day miracle. I've been complaining for a few days that it's a federal holiday today in the United States, so no mail. At least I thought no mail. Apparently, packages, maybe, some of them can still get through, and one of them did. Right after I finished rationing the mail this morning and bloviating on about Robert Stone, a box came in the mail, and it's not just any box. It's from Todd Oval at Todd's Bursting Bookcase. So, in a day in which I'm getting no mail, a fellow member of the OGBG, the Old Geezers Book Group, came through in a clutch. There's a box here. Now, I have no idea what this is. Last time Todd and I were in communication about sending a book, it was the way God intended, a book going from me to him. so there's been, as far as I remember, no mention of books coming to me. So let's see what's in here. Did he maybe find something on a book expedition and get it for me? One of the little fringe benefits of doing 80 million videos every week is that none of you are in any doubt, if you go to a library sale or whatever, none of you are in any doubt what I want. Let's see what we have here. Oh, no, it's not from a book sale, it's from his own library. Oh, no, incredible. Oh, Todd, I cannot thank you enough. I have praised this series many times on this channel. These are the Judge Dee mysteries of Robert Van Gulik. Set in hundreds of years ago, and a judge who makes the rounds, does the circuits, and has a stern but infallible eye for catching inconsistencies. A large component of these books is him exercising his authority to interview witnesses and potential criminals. And that authority is very different from what you get in normal murder mysteries, because Judge Dee is an imperial official. If he doesn't like the way you're behaving, he can ruin your life. He can have you tortured to death if he wants to. That kind of starkness is very seldom evident in these books. But the witnesses, the people that he calls before him, are afraid of him. In a way, it's an active element in these books, and it simply isn't true in most other murder mysteries. Most other murder mysteries, even historical murder mysteries, like, for instance, the Matthew Shardlake mysteries. Shardlake is a lawyer. He's sometimes working on a case for the Queen, but he's not allowed to invoke her authority explicitly except in desperation, and without having anything to back it. He doesn't have halberdiers behind him or anything like that. And in the modern day, the sleuth has the arm of the law, usually, behind them. But it's distant, and it's procedural. Judge Dee has, the ability to haul you off to a horrible, iniquitous dungeon at his say-so. And that adds an element here that has been... Van Gulik has read the actual historical, the quasi-historical Judge Dee, and has baked that into these novels in a wonderful way. Judge Dee is also a bit of a character. He's not eccentric. He's stern and paternal, but by the time you've read a couple of these books, you really like him. You really want to spend time around him. And this is a trade paperback. This is Murder in Canton. But the true joy of this box is the other Judge Dee mysteries that Todd sent me. He sent me all of these old Chicago square mass market paperbacks. Look at that. I have one of these. I think I have one of these. And I mentioned in a library tour that I used to have them all in these gorgeous white mass markets, and that I regret getting rid of them. Because Judge Dee these are murder mysteries that you will reread. And I lamented that I got rid of all these, and Todd had them all. And they don't hold a place in his reading heart, they hold in mine. And that's exactly how this should all work, right? That's exactly how this should all work. That if you have books that don't set, that sparkle in the eye, and you see through BookTube that they do that for a friend of yours, anyway. Oh my. So we have The Haunted Monastery. I might as well show them all to you. We have The Chinese Gold Murders. We have Poets and Murder, one of my favorite ones in the series. We have The Empress's Pearl. We have Judge Dee at Work, another fantastic entry in the series. Where am I going to put all of these? The Lacquer Screen. Let me organize these here. The Chinese Bell Murders. This is a nice hefty one. Lots and lots of atmosphere. This is Necklace and Calabash. Only read that once. The Chinese Maze Murders. There's a bat on the front cover. And look at how stately these are, how wonderful they are. No fault at all, just these beautiful uniform covers. We have the Chinese Lake Murders, often reprinted. We have the Red Pavilion. This is also often reprinted. There's the Emperor's Pearl again. So Todd must have had a double of those, and now I do. Then we have the Monkey and the Tiger. One of the more ingenious of the books. Ordinarily, these aren't particularly ingenious, plot heavy. This one is one of the more intricately plotted of those, and I like that just fine. The Chinese Nail Murders. Hi Bean, how you doing? The Willow Pattern. Hi Bean, what's the matter? Oh, you're antsy today. And the Phantom of the Temple. So a whole pile of Judge Dee mysteries. These are going right on my nightstand to just burn through these the way I do Regency romances. What an amazing gift. Thank you so much, Todd. That's incredible. Okay, well, a mail-free day is saved and just shot into the stratosphere. Even if I got a mail shipment today, it couldn't meet this. So... Steve is pleased. Steve will now toddle off and spend the next hour reading a Judge Dee mystery. The only way to honor a gift of this size is to set aside time and read one of these. I'll pick one of the shorter ones and read it. Just enjoy it. And then I'll ration them out across the new year. Wonderful. Okay, so I did get a package today in addition to the one we already talked about. And it was the king of all packages. Incredible. What an amazing thing we have going here on BookTube. I tell you. The more I think about it, the more I love the fact that we all do this, that we all know each other, that we all talk to each other every day. And I'm a little afraid when I think about December and these coming the changes in the YouTube terms of service. I don't know how many of you have read those new terms of service, but a couple of the parts in those terms of service that you have to agree to, you've probably agreed to them already. A couple of the lines in those terms of service make things fairly explicit that I have been worrying about for a while. Which is, you think of YouTube. Think of YouTube, the greater ecosystem of YouTube. They have stars, right? And they have a lot of them. They have thousands of stars. People who have, you've seen the plaques in the background in their videos, 100,000 subscribers, 200, 500, a million, 2 million, 3 million, 10 million. It's not just, people think of PewDiePie. They think of, hundreds of million, almost 200 million subscribers. They think of that. But YouTube's ad revenue, their money is made by an entire cadre of stars, people who have huge ad revenues coming in. And YouTube is very generously cutting them in for a minuscule fraction of all that, and they keep the rest. And when you think about that, I've mentioned this before on this channel, when you think about that, you realize that the days when we can all just do this are numbered, absolutely numbered. I don't get to have studio time at NBC. even though I am, I don't know, a citizen, a viewer, I don't get to do that. NBC zealously guards its resources and technology for the things that will make it money. And the YouTube terms of service that are going into effect in early December explicitly say that YouTube reserves the right to cancel at any time a channel that is not commercially viable. That's the phrase they use. Well, that it isn't just me, although of course it is me and a million other channels like me. I don't monetize this channel. I'm not going to charge you money and run commercials for you to talk to me. I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't do that in person. I wouldn't meet you at Eugene O'Neill's pub and say, well, it's great to see you. We haven't talked in 3 or 4 weeks. Before I talk to you, I want to talk to you for 3 minutes about this wristwatch. And then we'll catch up on our family and our friends and our dogs and whatnot. I wouldn't do that. So I don't monetize this channel. And there are plenty of channels that don't have the option to monetize. They aren't big enough. And by definition, those channels could easily be considered by YouTube as not commercially viable. YouTube runs ads on them sometimes, but that's a far cry from traffic. And you don't get traffic. The total number of views on this channel since it started, ever, and that's thousands of videos, the total number of views on this, some of the bigger YouTube channels get in 1 week. They're the ones YouTube will keep. And ours are, this whole community, it's easy to look at those terms of service that are coming and say, well, we're what they're aiming at. Why would they carry all of this? Why would they do that? Carrying all of this with server and bandwidth and whatnot, and the technology to make how many thousands of videos upload every hour on YouTube? the ecosystem in which you would encourage just anybody to upload videos and do that for free is, of course, what you would do to build your platform. Well, YouTube's done that. Second largest search engine in the world. It's done that. It doesn't need people like us anymore, and the day is coming. The day cannot be far off when we're just cut loose and have to find an alternate venue, because the people, the stars, the I don't even know, 400 or 500 stars of YouTube already making enough money so that if that is where the viewing populace knows they can find those people, that's where the viewing populace will go to find them. So the defection, the loss of hundreds of thousands of deadweight channels like ours won't matter to YouTube at all. And I can't help but look at the YouTube terms of service and see that is what's coming. That they'll deem channels like mine and yours and everybody else's that we love not commercially viable. But anyway, in the meantime, since I have your ear, I am still able to celebrate this thing that we have, which is incredible. Just amazing. A whole box of stuff. But thank you, Todd. That's amazing. It's made my morning. So I'm going to wrap this up, but I'll be back. We have lots to talk about. Thank you, too.